okay to be you. It's okay to be lost. I didn't find my feet until I was like 26. I had a baby at 24. I was a bum when I had a baby. But at the time, I thought I was the man. Do you know what I mean? So life hits you. Since the podcast has blown up, people refer to me as a public figure. And as a public figure, people tell you that you have a responsibility because people are looking up to you. I'm not anybody's role model. I've said this many, many times before. I am winging this. I wanted to kind of share my experiences with the masses, and around the same time, Marv and Keith felt the same way. My original premise was to go on YouTube and do it on a YouTube format, and then Keith sent me a bunch of podcasts to listen to and said, yo, check this out. I think it will suit us to do it this way. So then listen to a few, I was like, okay, this is different, but I didn't really know anybody doing podcasts at the time besides Chucky with his one. So I asked him, Chucky's one of my boys, I asked him, can I come on? Went on, and it was easy, it was calm. I was like, raw, the process was very, very smooth. So I was like, okay, cool, podcast is the way forward. So I literally used the same studio that Chucky was using. Found out the engineer is one of my boys as well. I was like, sounds like a match made in heaven. Obviously invited Keith and Marv down, and yeah, the rest is history. We literally just wanted to try something out, and then we got like, I think it was like 6,500 or 7,000 listens first week, which is, at the time, no one was doing that. The guys thought, yeah, like let's keep doing it. But at the time, it was every 2 weeks that we were dropping the episode. And then the demand just became crazy. So then that's when we started doing weekly. The dynamic of the characters, I say characters, but the people involved in the pod. We just basically brought our group chat to life. We go to the studio, we warm up by obviously drinking or eating or whatever, just how's everyone's week gone, how's everyone's day going, blah, blah, blah. And then we treat it as if there's no mic. We just have a conversation. So there's no production in the sense of, okay, let you get mic'd up, you put on your makeup, we literally just get in a room and we just talk. I might share some views that I've been thinking about that week. Guys, what do you think about, did you see what happened on, see that football match, blah, blah, and then we just kind of just dive into the topics we want to dive into. And then after about a few hours, we say, all right, cool, I'm tired, I'm going home. Literally, and then we put it out, and that's what the people get. Again, it's a conversation. I like talking, but there's a lot of conversations that I've had on the phone that I wish were recorded so people can hear. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just the type of person that will just phone up someone and say, listen, you free? Yep, all right, cool, let's vent. And we just start talking. So because of that, I think pretty much Keith does the same, Marv does the same. So because of that, the dynamic just works. The hardest thing about maintaining a podcast is waking up there's some days in the week where you have to wake up and know that you're going to the studio. And it could be a day where I'm not really fond of Keith. I'm not fond of Marv, or they're not fond of me, but we still have to suck it up, go to the studio and record. So imagine talking to someone that you're not really keen with on that particular day, and he's asking you questions about something. You're like, I don't even like you today, bro. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like that's the main thing. But because of our chemistry, we do know that at some point we got to come together and sort out whatever is going on between us for the bigger picture. So I'm not better than anybody else. I'm just like everybody else in it. I just decided that I want to be self-employed. I want to do events and I want to do a podcast. If some of the things that I say on the podcast come across offensive or rude, that's not my intention. Everyone's learning, everyone's trying. I'm just a student, and each day I take it as it comes. My main message is that I'm human. I'm always learning. There's some things that I say today that could be offensive tomorrow. The day that I said it, I didn't know. I didn't know it was going to be offensive. So please don't be hard on me. You know what I mean? So one of them things, we're just taking it as each day comes. So it does shine the light on everybody's real life experiences. It's not scripted. We're not like gassing it. We're not about sensationalism. There's even times where we've had guests come on and they've wanted to say certain things that we feel would go viral, and we take it out purely because we want to protect the person. Like, we understand that you're vexed and this is you venting, but the amount of stuff we take out of the podcast, just to show you how real it gets in the studio, is mad. Because if we wanted to go viral, we could have gone viral so many different times. But we're not about that. That's not what we're here to do. We're just here to have conversations with people. I've sat down and spoken to some of my heroes because of Free Shots, like DWE. I used to sit down and record this guy when I was 13, 14, listening to cassette, TDQs. TDKs. And now I've got him in the studio and I'm able to ask him questions about certain things. So the podcast has definitely taken me to certain heights, but at the same time, I just like to drill into people's heads that I'm only human, not no celebrity, I'm not no public figure. I'm just like you. I just happen to have a popular podcast, that's it. So with 3 Shots of Tequila, I think the main thing that I wanted people to get from it is that, again, I was Tazer Black before 3 Shots. So when 3 Shots happened, when people are like, yeah, but Tazer Black came, no, Tazer Black was Tazer Black before that. I've been popular, but it's not something that I care about. It's just one of the things I just wanted to let people know that it's okay to be you. It's okay to be lost. I didn't find my feet until I was like 26. I had a baby at 24. I was a bum when I had a baby. But at the time I thought I was the man. Do you know what I mean? So life hits you. I've suffered like deaf family. I've been beaten up. I grew up in the ends. Like Church Road is 10 minutes away. Stonebridge is 10 minutes away. I live in St. Raph's. Like I'm from the ends just like everybody else. Do you know what I mean? So, but I've just made certain decisions and I just wanted to talk about them. Like there's a certain route you can go down. I didn't go down that route. And the reason I didn't go down that route, my mum and dad, cool. We struggled. My mum claims. My dad was a man who was doing extracurricular activities to make ends meet. Like nothing's perfect here. That's what I wanted to share. Just let people know that. So just put your head down, focus on what it is you want to do, and eventually you'll make it, I guess. That's what I'm doing. So I just want people to see me as an example of, you know what, if you kind of put your mind to something, and it takes time. No one goes to the gym today to get wedged tomorrow. It takes time. As long as you're willing to put in the effort, it'll pay off. One of the misconceptions with when we signed our deal with Spotify is that, oh my God, you lot are millionaires. No. You lot are backed by a big, yeah. I mean, the relationship with Spotify is amazing, but what they essentially did was, it's business. It's similar to when an artist is independent and decides to sign to a label. The label obviously said, for X amount, we want X amount. And that's essentially all it is. And we're just consistently providing. People listen to the podcast, they realize the content ain't changed. It's exactly the same as before we got signed. The only thing is we have grown it to the point where I guess you could say we're globally known now because of Spotify. So people that use Spotify worldwide have access to the podcast and has given us the opportunities for people in America to listen to us, people in Africa to listen to us, people in Asia, Europe. So just, I mean, it's all right, you know? A lot of people were worried that by us going to Spotify, they thought we would lose the essence of the podcast. But if you're an avid listener, you'll see that creatively, we've kept 100% control and the podcast is pretty much the same as when we first started on SoundCloud. When I first started the podcast, let's say around episode 20, 30 mark, I realized that what we're doing is very sick. Like, it was amazing at the time. There was very little podcast similar to ours, to the point where existing podcasts at the time were calling us bantercasts, because they're like, there's no podcast out there that just do banter. Like, what are you? Normally you're supposed to have a podcast that's about movies or football, sports, or lifestyle, blah, blah. We've kind of just jumped into the game and decided, you know what, we're gonna bring our WhatsApp group chat to life. We shook the table. And then because of that, and I guess people saw the impact of what being yourselves could be like, a lot of podcasts were born. If you have an idea and you want to do a book review in a podcast format, go ahead and do it. If you want to review movies, go ahead and do it. Sports, go ahead and do it. Banter, go ahead and do it. Everyone is experiencing something, and why not share it? That's because someone out there is going to be like, oh my God, I'm going through the same thing. I can relate. So for me, all the podcast was is just amplifying my voice, sharing my experiences, and if that inspires someone else to do the same, then by all means, go ahead and do it. If I had to give someone a tip about podcasting, I would say the main thing that I've learned is being consistent. You wouldn't invest in a TV show that told you, the episode's gonna come out when it comes out. You watch episode 1 and you're intrigued, you're like, where's episode 2? So imagine you as a podcast. You dropped an episode today and then we're waiting for the next episode. And I feel like the current climate we're in, a lot of people's attention their attention span is very, very short. So I could listen to a podcast today and think it's so sick and I might not ever listen to episode 2. And that's the kind of current climate we're in. So because of that, be very, very mindful before you jump in. Don't get me wrong, I've had a lot of people reach out to me about starting a podcast and they're very excited in the beginning. By episode 2, disappeared. I'm like, do you see what I'm saying? I feel like it's grown immensely. There's a lot of people that I meet face to face that have literally come up to me and said, bro, you got me out of potential suicide. You've got me out of a bad place. I didn't think I had anything to live for, but listening to you guys, listening to you lot's experiences, it's kind of made them feel like, right, wait, maybe life ain't that bad. Maybe I just need to pick up and motivate myself. And so these are people that I meet on a day-to-day. I'm not even talking about like what I see online. I'm talking about people that I've met face to face. Like they have no reason to lie to me. It's just the impact that the podcast has had on people kind of drives me to continue. Because again, like I said, it's not hard. When I started sharing stories about my dad in regards to my upbringing and how disciplined he was in the household, and he was more like he was the leader and everything he says goes and and then seeing other people share their experiences, I felt like my household was everybody's household. Anybody who's Nigerian has had the same upbringing, and it's not the same parents. So that means all our parents have had the same upbringing at home, because for them to be the way they are now, they experienced whatever they experienced, and it just brought us together. It's like a sense of togetherness without being brethren. You know what I mean? So it's kind of inspired a lot of other black males to kind of speak up and share their experiences. I think it's amazing that a lot of men are talking now, because we grew up in a time where men weren't allowed to talk. And when I say allowed, I meant people were not listening to you. Suck it up. What are you crying for? Get on with it. And now we can share what we're actually going through. Some people actually want to listen, and to those people, I'm grateful for you. To the others, they'll soon jump on the bandwagon. In regards to black culture, I think podcasts have been very, very amazing, because it's allowed people to speak. You don't need a label. You don't need a production team. You can do it all from your bedroom, essentially. And because of that, we're hearing a lot more people's experiences, and we're realizing that we're all just like each other. And because of that, I feel like it's humbling, because it's like, I'm not better than you. I feel like podcasting, yes, it's important, but there has to be a way to validate that this person is making sense. And the ones that people are focusing on are the ones that are focused on sensationalism and going viral and clout chasing now. So I think that's just where we're at now. My views could change in a year's time, but right now, I think that's what we need to kind of figure out. Okay, let me use football as an analogy, yeah? Because people will understand. You can't lie about your performance in football. So you don't get signed based off you telling me you're good. I can see your performance, and that's why I'm signing you. Whereas with a podcast, you could just get a guy called James that decides to say whatever he's saying, and because what he's saying is engaging, you now invest in the person, but the person's full of shit. So how do you assess that? So I guess not a gatekeeper as in a person, but just a method where we can validate what people are saying. Because that's why I don't listen to a lot of podcasts, because I don't actually believe what they're saying. But what they're saying might go viral. So people now say, oh my God, that person said, but that person doesn't have the credibility. Like when you go to get a job, you have to hand in your CV. How many times have you been caught out, you've lied and said, I know how to use Microsoft Excel. Then your manager tells you to do something on a spreadsheet, you're lost. You get fired. We don't have that in the scene. You can lie your way to the top. No one's there to verify whether it's true or not. And I feel like I don't want that to cross over into podcasting. Just share what you know and then debate what you don't know. It's fine to say, I don't know. I don't know everything. Tazer, what do you think about, I don't know. I don't know. I shouldn't be slated because I'm saying I don't know. Do you know what I mean? So once we're more comfortable in being ourselves and being able to say I don't know, I reckon we'll be in a better place. Listen to what the content that I'm involved in. Listen to Free Shots. I mean, come down to Faded, have a good time. You can see people having a good time, and then you'll understand why I'm so passionate about what I do.